All right, let's read this now. This is a long letter from Antifa. It's a long love letter from Antifa to Trump. Wow, this is the buckle down. This is gonna take a little time, Patriots, but it's going to be well worth it. I promise. Okay, so here we go. From Eric Coomer on June 2nd. In case you didn't know, this is in an article on the Gateway Pundit. I did videos about this just before this one. So here we go. In case you didn't know, Antifa has made a statement from Eric Coomer, June 2nd. To all media, public statement from Antifa in response to the threats issued by United States President Donald J. Trump. Dear Mr. Trump, let us be perfectly clear. Antifa isn't an organization. There's no membership, no meetings, no dues, no rules, no leaders, no structure. It is literally an idea, and nothing more. Even the claim of this author to represent Antifa, and every time they say Antifa, they have it in air quotes, like they have it in they have it in quotation marks. Is one made unilaterally for the purposes of this communication and nothing more. There is no governing body, no trademark owner to dispute the author's right, nor trademark owner to dispute the author's right to represent Antifa. Antifa is a neologism, whatever that means. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay? No new ideas, no nothing under the sun. It's all an old playbook. There's moves that win and moves that don't. You can either pick to use the moves that win or the ones that lose. Antifa is the losing move. Okay, so is a neologism constructed from a contraction of the phrase anti-fascist. The truth is there's no such thing as being anti-fascist. Either you're a decent human being with a conscience or you're a fascist. The ostensible president of the United States has today openly declared that he is a fascist and that he intends to turn the military power of the United States into a fascist tool. Now, there is no question, and we can stop pretending that this man represents... so he's talking to Trump about Trump. Down to Trump. Okay. After all that burning and looting, okay. Walk to the nearest rope, c00Ner. The nearest rope, and get creative with how you remove the burden of yourself from our society. Oh, now there is no question that we can start pretending that this man represents anything but the worst in humanity, which his supporters embody. And that is the only effect his words will have. It will likely be no problem for LEO to identify the author of this document, who also has maintained the Antifa page on Facebook since founding it in 2017. The author of this document is unconcerned with that inevitability because neither that author nor this document has been involved in a crime in any sort of way. Really? For really? Ooh, you got a nasty surprise, boy. Nasty surprise. All right. In any way, since both the president and the media insist on, and the media try to make Antifa look good, and the media insists on acting as though Antifa is this big scary organization. The author supposes it's time for Antifa to make a statement. Antifa supports and defends the rights of all people to live free from oppressive abuse of power, whether that power is unjustly derived from the wealth status as an employer, or political popularity. So they admit that Trump is popular. Well, this is why he's popular. Can you read, Antifa? Can you read? No more bullshit. Trump 2020. Well, Trump already won, so now it's really Trump 2024. So, liberals need to cope. It's okay. I saw a tweet, how is it that Joe Biden can be the president of the United States if he's doing it from a Ukrainian jail cell? Watch my earlier video about that. That's how all this got started. Okay. Particularly Antifa depends and defends and supports the rights of oppressed and marginalized people to protest, march, and engage in civil disobedience. So burning, looting, and rioting is civil disobedience. Okay, whatever. In pursuit of justice, while it is never our intent to engage in violent, or never our intent to engage in violent or destructive behavior, we cannot and will not take responsibility for telling how they are allowed to be righteously outraged. We prefer and encourage nonviolent action. Yeah, sure. We also understand that some people just aren't feeling that nice anymore. You don't say. Wow, c00Ner. The the space, I feel like the space inside c00Ner's head just sounds like an empty warehouse, just resounding, you know, echoing, echoing from wall to wall with a dead sound, you know? Because c00Ner is a deadhead. I can see it plainly. We prefer to go to. We also understand that some people are just aren't feeling that nice anymore. Their feelings are entirely justified, and it is neither our role nor our privilege to tell them otherwise. Mass civil disobedience is what happens when people say they're hurting, and whoever is hurting them refuses to stop. We don't care. I don't care if you fall off the face of the earth tomorrow, Antifa. Stop hurting them. Fix your broken systems. Get real and meaningful psychological evaluations and background checks. Police in some nations have to pass a more stringent test to carry pepper spray than any police department in the U.S. or the U.S. military have in place. As a direct and possibly deliberate consequence, our military and paramilitary personnel simply cannot be assumed to be fighting in the interests of the people of this country. Well, they're fighting in my interests, so I got no problem with cops. I've never met a cop that did anything for me that a regular person in regular clothes with a regular job and a regular life couldn't do. Okay. So, and they don't want the military or the police to have guns, just like in Europe, where the cops have no teeth, right? They don't have no guns. They just have gums, like a dog with no teeth, you know. That's why our Second Amendment is so great. You know, the right to bear arms and all that shit. We've all seen the photos. We've all seen the photos. Oh yes, we have. The destruction and burning and looting is largely the behavior of outsiders. White people taking advantage of the situation, both to enrich themselves by looting under cover of the protest and to provide excuses for uncontrolled fascist elements within our military and police forces as plausible cover for killing more black, brown, and poor people. Oh, is that why George Floyd walked into the store with a fake $20 bill? Because he was poor? Okay. Don't care. He got what was coming to him. And he didn't die because of the cops. He died because he was high on fentanyl, and it was probably Chinese fentanyl. Right? Because the Chinese own the Democrat Party, so yeah. Fentanyl Floyd. So much credibility. Okay. Without fear of sanction, the so-called accelerationists who have committed to ensuring that at any time a marginalized community stands up and demands justice construct a narrative of criminality and destruction that white bigots and affluent oligarchs who benefit from our broken system to validate their bigotry and injustice retroactively. They are successful in this for two reasons. Because people like you, who are easily manipulated in your banal self-serving ignorance, and because people like you are more than happy to passive-aggressively reap the benefits of pretending to believe this destruction is an act of the oppressed. Well, all I can say, man, I'm 29 years old, and I have been watching the Democrats destroy my country. I've been watching Antifa destroy my country. Black Lives Matter destroy my country. And I'm 29 years old. I've seen enough. Eric Cooner, find the nearest rope and alleviate us the burden of your influence on our society. You can be creative however you want to do it, just as long as you use rope. Stands up to and demands justice, construct a narrative of criminality. Is the act of the oppressed. This game has gone on for decades on an endless loop since the very dawn of the civil rights era, and we the people are saying no more. We the people. Yeah, and that President Trump and that President Trump, according to them, is your solution. No more. Get the dirt out of your law enforcement and your military. Get the dirt out of your government and administration. Ideally, resign now and take your VP and cabinet with you. Nancy Pelosi isn't a great deal of improvement, but she'll only be president for a few months. You can't... Oh, so he wants to decide who gets to be president. I get it, Cooner. You can arrest 100 million of us, sir. Oh, sir. Suddenly they have respect, sir. And you would be well advised not to try. If you think that targeting and making an example of the author of this document will get you anywhere, you may rest assured that this author is more than prepared to allow his real name to be used as a rallying cry for justice and civil disobedience from coast to coast. Oh no. That's not what Eric Cooner is going to be known for. Oh no. It is time for you and everyone who thinks like you to understand that whether black, red, brown, white, or any other color, Americans are done living in a nation of empty platitudes and broken promises. Well, Eric Cooner, what the living hell is this supposed to mean, sir? What is that supposed to mean, huh? Do you have eyes? Can you read? Cooner. Okay, let's go. Traditionally, this type of document is accompanied by a list of demands. Here are our demands. Universal single-payer healthcare without regard for citizenship status. Next. Universal single-payer healthcare, universal basic income with a federal job guarantee, under which the federal government becomes the employer of last resort. Involuntary unemployment is a function of profiteering by fascist capitalist oligarchs who are willing to sacrifice the lives of others. COVID-19 the F out of my face, Eric Cooner. Okay. To sacrifice the lives of others for their own enrichment. It must end. Oh, you don't say. The abolition of right-to-work laws, which do exactly the opposite of ensuring anyone's right to work. Publicly funded higher education. Yes, the government will own you. Okay. Robust and effective social welfare programs to include childcare, education, unemployment